as we move into the holidays, I think those of us who have struggled with our weight in the past, or even if you haven't struggled with your weight in the past, but in the last few years, as you got to that over 40, over 50 transition, then you started struggling with your weight. For those of us in that situation, the holidays can add even more stress than the normal kind of stress that we as women feel. You know what I mean? Like getting all the things done, making sure that all the gifts are purchased, making sure that flight arrangements are made if you're traveling for the holidays, or if you're hosting, that everything is perfect and all the food is, like all of those kinds of things. Oh my gosh, I'm like feeling stressed even thinking about it because I have so much more to do, right? But seriously, we have taken on kind of responsibility for making sure everybody is okay and happy and has these wonderful celebrations through the holidays. And that adds a regular, normal kind of stress to us as women that I think we oftentimes don't take enough pause to recognize, because it's become our normal, right? It's become, well, of course I'm going to take care of everything. Of course I'm going to get stressed out about it, right? But then you add to that, once you get to this over 40, over 50 stage, if you're struggling with your weight, and that is also on your mind all throughout the year, there's this added stress of, oh my gosh, all the celebrations, all the food, all the everything that comes with the holiday season isn't something that we always look forward to in anticipation. There's a dread, there's a concern, there's a worry that I'm not going to have something to wear to my husband's work event for Christmas holidays. I'm going to be uncomfortable. I'm not going to make him proud. I worry about how all the different food celebrations and Thanksgiving dinner at work and Christmas party at work and my friend's Christmas party and all those celebrations are going to add up to a lot of extra calories, a lot of extra worry and stress over the food that I'm eating, all of that. Again, you get it because it's all going on in your head, right? All of that adds to the normal layer of stress. And this season between about Thanksgiving and about mid-January can become a season of stress for us. And I want to talk to you a little bit about that today, excuse me, and some kind of tangent related kinds of considerations. So one is it's a fact that this season can add weight to our bodies. And that's a normal kind of thing, right? You'll hear people on the internet will start with these kinds of posts here pretty soon if you haven't seen them already. You know, don't add 6 to 10 pounds, or the average, woman, especially American female, will add 6 to 10 pounds through the holidays. Join our gym or do our diet to avoid that. You're going to start seeing that. And it is a fact that particularly American female women will gain some weight through the holidays. Let me put a little bit of a disclaimer on that. Not to make excuses and not to completely put your mind at ease and say, oh, don't worry about it, but to just be realistic. It's usually not 6 to 10 pounds. Not for the average person. There are people who gain that, but for the average person, it's not 6 to 10 pounds. The other thing is that's not typically fat weight. And there's a difference between adding fat to your body and just gaining pounds. And I'm not going to go into too much of the detail around that. I talk with my clients about this all the time, but it's another reason you shouldn't fixate so much on the scale. But not every increase in a pound on the scale equals fat added to the composition of your body. There's inflammation, there's water weight. There are a host of reasons why there can be more pounds on the scale, and during the holidays, that is a fact. Things like The food that you eat, obviously, that is different from like outside the norm of what you typically do, added sugar, usually less hydration, added calories, all of those things can add some pounds. The other thing is that, and we don't often talk about this, in fact, we need to factor in is that when you're traveling, you're also going to have some effects from that can result in pounds on the scale. Your body can get much more inflamed, traveling, whether by air or by car, can cause you to swell. There are a lot of things that are going on there. But again, I don't say that to make that be an excuse for you just to like be a glutton through the holidays. I want to put this in context and in perspective, okay? There are some things that you can do through the holidays to kind of minimize the scale going up, minimize the detriment to your health, for example, that can happen through the holidays if you're not at least aware of the kinds of things that you're consuming, okay? So, excuse me. The other thing is you can put a plan in place. Don't just stress about all of the things that I've been talking about and not take action to mitigate them, because there are things that you can do. I will give you a couple of those as an example right now. One, make sure that you're hydrating. You absolutely need to make sure you're hydrating. This should go without saying for all of, the entire year, but particularly during this season where your routines can be off, you can be eating differently than normal, you can be eating more than normal, your schedules can be thrown off. Like I said, not just your routine on a daily basis, but your schedules can be thrown off because you're out maybe, socializing more or attending different kinds of events. You're traveling, those kinds of things. You need to get even more hydration in and become even hyper aware of that on a day-to-day basis. And I do recommend, and I tell my clients this, particularly through these kinds of stressful times or busier times, you should track your water intake, because it is too easy to get busy and not realize that, all I've had is like 16 ounces of water today. So track it. There are plenty of free apps that you can put on your phone to track your water, make it super simple. You can even do like little competitions and challenges with yourself and with others, which is just a kind of a little fun way. It's also an added accountability for you, but definitely track your hydration. So being aware and making sure you're increasing your hydration is a great first step. The second one is plan for the upcoming event. If you have, for example, this weekend, you have a celebration. Maybe it's the first of the holiday season celebrations, and you're going to a friend's house for like a pre-Thanksgiving or a Friendsgiving or some of those, because in the United States, we're going to celebrate in just about 2 weeks, we're going to celebrate Thanksgiving holiday. And so the 2 weeks leading up to that, oftentimes there'll be work events, social events, those kinds of things. Each time you have one of those events that you're attending or you're hosting, make a plan for that. And let me be clear about this. Your plan should not be to go all day without eating, to quote unquote save up the calories. And if you can see me on video, I was doing air quotes. That is not a strategy. It is a horrible idea. Please don't do it. Excuse me. But you need to make an effective plan for managing that situation. So let's say that it is on Saturday evening that you're going to this Friendsgiving. Get up, have a good breakfast that day. Think about what's going to be served. Think about what you're taking. If you are taking a dish and going somewhere where it's being hosted, but oftentimes you'll already know exactly what the meal plan is going to be, right? So sit down with pencil and paper, pen and a pad, and literally write out what your plan for eating at that event is, okay? So get up that morning, have a really good breakfast, eat normally throughout the day. Don't skip lunch. Don't go into save up calorie mode, like I said, but eat normally during the day, and then sit down and write out a plan for what you will have. And I really encourage you to start with whatever the lean meat will be, decide what that's going to be. look for vegetables. Typically, there's going to be some kind of an option that's a little bit healthier option. Put vegetables steamed, not the really heavy, like, one soaked in fat and butter, but make the best decisions you can make about really good, healthier options for vegetables. Put that on about half of your plate. Put the lean protein on about a quarter of your plate. Fill that corner with it, and then pick one of the other kinds of foods. The other kinds of foods may be a potato or a macaroni and cheese or something. Usually it's some kind of a creamy, saucy, something carby kind of thing. Then, put that on like the last quarter or smaller. And then if there's a dessert that you absolutely love and it's a treat for you in the holidays, take a bite of it. Get a slice of the pie. Get a couple, 2 small spoonfuls. You don't have to get a dessert plate. And that is a tip that goes along with plating your food at this event and thinking about what you'll eat. When you get dessert, put it on your dinner plate. It should go in that little bitty space that you have left after you've plated the food, like I've talked about, not on a dessert plate. Those kinds of little tips and tricks with food, planning it, plating it, putting the dessert on your dinner plate instead of a separate plate. Those kinds of things can go a long way. They add up over the course of an entire holiday season, and they can mean the difference between gaining pounds and not, or at least minimize the number of pounds that you add over the holidays, right? And our goal is to at least maintain. We want to get through the season without stepping on the scale and it being 5 pounds higher. Ideally, it stays about the same, in the same range as it has the rest of the year. So hydration, planning what you will eat, plating your food in the way that I mentioned, and then make sure that you do not beat yourself up. You don't have guilt around anything that you've consumed, okay? The other thing is really think about if this is an event where there will be alcoholic beverages, plan ahead of time what you will or won't drink in terms of alcohol. Always take a water bottle with you. That just should go without saying. Everywhere you go, you should take water with you and have that hydration with you all the time. It should be like an extension of your body. People should get to know you as the woman who walks around with her water bottle no matter where she is. And if you want to have a sequined or rhinestoned water bottle to go with your fancier outfits, then by all means do that. But seriously, have a water bottle with you everywhere. But plan in advance what you will drink. If you are going to a friend's house that you know that socializing with them involves alcoholic beverages, then say, okay, I'm going to enjoy 2 alcoholic beverages tonight. That's my limit. I'm stopping at 2. And in between each of those, have a bottle of water, the equivalent of, 15 to 20 ounces of water. Make that a rule for yourself before you have another alcoholic beverage. And if you plan in advance to only have 2 or whatever you plan, maybe it's 1, you are much more likely to stick to that plan than if you just go in willy-nilly and I don't know what I'll eat until I get there and I don't know how much I drink until it's going down, right? Those kinds of, and it doesn't take long to plan in this way, but those kinds of pre-planning decisions can make the world of difference, like I said, okay? You might also decide that I did indulge in having a few drinks at the event that I went to on Friday. So the one that I have on Saturday, I'm not going to drink. That's a choice that I'm making. So all of that pre-planning, like I said, really makes a huge difference in getting through the holidays without that added stress of stepping on the scale 2 weeks into the season and realizing that you're already up 3 pounds. The other thing I'll say about this is oftentimes we look at the holiday season with that kind of dread and we play this mind game. We say, okay, this coming year, 2024, at the recording of this podcast, the upcoming year, 2024, is going to be the year that I lose weight. I'm going to get through this holiday season, and then January 1st, I'm going on a diet, and I'm going to do it. And while I applaud the decision and the determination that you plan to have. While I applaud your desire to get healthier, what oftentimes happens, and I'm just being real here with you, what most often happens is you say that and then you don't do it. And it will get to the end of January and you haven't started my diet yet. It will get to spring break time and the weather will start getting warmer and you'll start thinking about pulling out shorts and you'll start dreading that. And you'll say, I've got to do something before summer. And before you know it, then it's bathing suit season and you're going, oh my God, I didn't do anything. And now here it is summer and I don't want to get into my swimsuit. And we have a vacation planned, and what am I going to do? It's always that plan to do it, put it off, set a date for it. The date comes and goes, and nothing is done. And I say that because I know firsthand. I did it for years and years and years, and I work with women every day in our MRS program who spent years with those good intentions. But quite frankly, shit never happens. They don't do anything. And after you do that for a while, and you know this, like I'm preaching to the choir, right? After you do that for a while, it's not just the physical weight that you have on your body that is bothering you and stressing you out and occupying your mental space constantly, but it's also the mental weight of that situation. And you spiral into what can create anxiety. It can create negative feelings about yourself. It can create even a depressed kind of state, whether that's clinically depressed or it's, I just feel kind of down and depressed. Here's the way to stop that. Don't wait. There is no reason to wait until January 1st to quote unquote start your diet. All you have to do is decide today you'll make one healthier decision, one decision that is more in line with where you want to get to, what goals you have. That's it. You make one decision at a time. People like to say, take it one day at a time. I don't agree. For many of us, we need to take it one damn decision at a time. So do that today. Make one damn decision that you're going to be healthier, make a different choice. And pretty soon those decisions add up over the course of an hour, over the course of the morning, over the course of the afternoon, over the course of the entire day. And you know what? If you don't make a great decision multiple times that day, so what? I bet you've made at least one or more that were better than you made yesterday. And if you think about it in that way, it's one baby step, one foot in front of the other. You will make so much more progress than you ever had. And when you're ready to really dive in and believe in yourself, because that's what really this is about. This is about you having the confidence to believe in yourself that you can actually follow through with what you want to do. And when you get to that space where you're like, okay, I don't know that I actually can like commit to this every second of every minute of every day. I don't know that I can do this and not doubt myself. I can't do this without fear, but that's okay. I do know that I want to change my body. I want to feel better. I want to look better. And I want that bad enough that I'm willing to try. And if you take that one step farther and you say, okay, I'm serious about this. I'm going to invest in the commitment of time and energy. I'm going to stop allowing my feelings to be hijacked by all of this. And I'm going to get help so that I actually have a strategy and I have help with how to implement it in the best way and the healthiest way for my body. And I want help with accountability so I can be successful. When you get to that space, then you know with 100% certainty that you cannot fail. Because when you put all of those things in place, you will absolutely succeed and get to where you want and feel the way you want. And it is completely life changing when you do that. And hey, if you feel any connection, tug, urge to reach out to me and talk to me about where you are, what you need to do perhaps to make a change in your life, and maybe even talk about what it would look like to work with me to get to that space, I am more than happy to talk with you about that. I absolutely live for that. Every day I live for those conversations. So reach out. Okay, I'm going to wind up here. I hope that you've been taking notes. If you haven't, go back and re-listen to this. Grab you a pen and paper, jot down some notes, make yourself a plan for how you can approach these holidays with, and there's Monkey. Thanks, Monkey. Right on cue. I hope you can approach these holidays with a lot less stress, less worry, less dread. Because the holidays are not something for us to go into stressed and dread. It is really for us to enjoy. And so I really hope that this episode helps you in a little bit of a way to do that. I'd love to hear from you. Rate and share this podcast. Share it with a girlfriend who you know has been maybe struggling with wanting to make change and she just hasn't known how to do that. Or maybe she's tried and she hasn't really succeeded. And you know that it's really kind of bothering her, even if she's not saying a lot. Share this episode with her. Share this podcast with her. And I would absolutely love for you to reach out to me and let me know your thoughts on this and how this hit home for you. So I will meet you right back here next time.